Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder for such a beautiful story. Um, I can tell that this movie was for Adam Snyder. I could feel the love in the movie. And I understand the musical choices. A lot of people are saying that um, they found that Zach chose some interesting and different selections of songs. But I asked people to just listen to the lyrics of the songs, the lyrics of the music, and listen to how certain parts of the song is related. Particularly, I remember the coffee scene with Lewis um, as she's going, to see the police officer before she goes to pay her respects, not to the tomb of Superman, but to the memorial of him. And this movie, I think that's when I first realized how impactful this movie really was for me personally. Because it brought back memories of people I loved a lot and I lost. And so uh, I think this very uh, tender, gentle approach to discussing the dynamics of these heroes, I think, really had a resounding impact on me. I was sleep deprived as well. I stayed up to watch the movie. As soon as I saw it was available, I was like, "Whoa!" I just went at it, but I didn't know why I was going at it. Um, I just want to thank Snyder Cut community. Um, I want to thank Alita Battle Angel community. I want to thank Geeks and Gamers community. I want to thank uh, the communities even that doubted this movie and doubted the Snyder Cut ever being a good movie, jumping on board some of the actual media. I want to thank all the people who jumped on board and have allowed this movie to come out and not just be the success that it is so far. HBO Max, Jason Keeler, who believed in Zach's vision sufficiently to push the pendulum in this direction. And for the fans worldwide who have seen this movie, I surely hope that you feel, as I feel right now, very emotional about not just the movie coming out, but also the feeling of all of us going on this journey with Zach and Deborah and his family and the production team and the production crew and those who supported Zach in Warner Brothers to make this movie a reality. It is such an earnest movie. It is such a pure movie. Um, you know, and I just feel so good for Ray Fisher right now. Ray, you are such a wonderful person, a person of character, a person who's standing up for the right thing, and I really hope to God that we get to see more of you on the screen as Cyborg. More of you as Victor Stone. That story is so gut wrenching and tragic, so difficult. The things that Victor Stone went through, the things that uh, Cyborg went through in this movie are just unbearable. And Barry Allen, just to see, we saw this in the theatrical cut, you know, uh, in a different sort of version, in a different sort of way, but the payoff with Barry Allen is ridiculous. Ezra Miller did a phenomenal performance. And let me say, Jared Leto, oh my God. Talk about insane. Jared Leto behaves like a crazy ass psychopath. He really does. You know, That is the Joker. That is the Joker. And kudos to Jared Leto. I look forward to seeing his performance in Suicide Squad. And of course, Joe, uh, uh, I can't pronounce his last name, but to see Wilson Slade on the screen and the depiction of Wilson Slade was something. He didn't have a He had some moments, let's just put it that way. And it made so much sense what I saw on the screen of his performance. Maggianelli, I think is his name. Joe Maggianelli. Man, brother, we need more of that. We need more Wilson Slade. Wow. We got to see two depictions of Winslet Slade. And you know what's beautiful? Oh man. And then of course, everybody was talking about this. Ben Affleck. My goodness. Ben Affleck. What a performance. What a performance by Ben Affleck. And Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot. That also was a very, very tragic story. And, you know, I think what makes uh, some of the story of this movie so uh, makes you gut wrenching, torn, is the fact that it's the same thing like in Wonder Woman. Some of the critical characters in this story, they die, and that was like the heart. You already started to attach to them. You already started to build a relationship with them, and then their lives are taken in this story. And I think there's something that Zach did, which Patty also did in her movie, where the deaths of these people were not laid in vain, and that these people had something to give. And sadly, what they had to give was appreciated more in their death than in their life. Almost like the Superman story, which this movie really brought forth. There was an importance to Superman in this story. And I'm not saying the theatrical cut didn't um, bring out that importance as well, but with this particular version, really took the time to bring out how important, without sort of being so overt about it, um, not just the meaning of Superman to Louis Lane, but the meaning of Superman to Bruce Wayne, to uh, Barry Allen. So very important. Superman meant something to him, and was the reason that Barry decided to be a certain way and use his abilities a certain way. It was Superman. And Superman, what's interesting? A lot of what Joss did does tie in to what Zach did. Josh did it a bit differently. And as a result, Josh had much more of a contrasting sort of dynamic way of integrating humor and drama. He tried to play humor and drama together, whereas Zach very earnestly, and that's the difference between a Wonder Woman movie and a Marvel movie, in my opinion. He tried to earnestly depict the characters in the truest sense of what they were, whereas Joss Whedon played off of humor and then the emotional side of things, but those payoff moments were brief because he was juxtaposing emotion, sort of the Marvel formula, juxtaposing, not to say that all Marvel movies are like this, but he juxtaposed the emotional elements with humor, you see. But Zach has a different approach. He has a Patty Jenkins approach, I would say, where he is deeply having you attach to critical characters who run the relay of carrying the burden of the story only to be castrated or excised from the story. And in their removal, in their absence, there is an appreciation and a much more, because of the hero journeying in themselves, for their sacrifice, and then they begin to listen to them. And so it's one of those stories where a, a bunch of critical people actually are lost, and in the process, a bunch of critical people are reborn. So there's a lot of loss and rebirth in this story itself. And it reminded me of Wonder Woman, particularly when it comes to Antiope's death in that movie, which really ripped my heart in several places. And I really felt the loss of Antiope in that story. And you will get that same sort of feeling when Silas Stone dies in the movie. It is a sacrificial death in a very similar sort of manner as Antiope is, but it serves its purpose. Silas Stone is a very logical, intelligent individual, and there is a purpose behind everything that he was doing. And so um, it kind of reminds me also of Man of Steel with Jonathan Kent, the sacrifice in order for the protagonist to move to another level, the faith and belief in the protagonist to figure it out and work to the ultimate conclusion. And I think that's something. And this happened also with Superman. There's always this sacrifice in these movies where these heroes or these protagonists sacrifice themselves to give the heroes the chance and the time to grow and build themselves. And I think you will find out that in this movie, I think one of the things that are very stirring in this movie is the sacrifice of some of these principal protagonists who at first you may be conflicted about, or at first you may just really hit off with and admire. Now, there are some antagonists in this movie. Oh my God. Oh my God. Jared Leto did a very excellent, you cannot get more jokerly than Jared Leto's Joker is. And when you see, you will understand what I'm talking about. The insanity of Joker, the fact that he finds humor in certain very, very serious and severe situations. He finds the humor in that. And it's very, it's very interesting how as things get more chaotic and more desperate, Joker tends to get more and more wild with how out there he is, mentally, particularly, and also in terms of, there's a trailer that pretty much summarizes Joker, and you might find yourself laughing alongside him at the insanity of the situation. And the more insane the situation is the more he laughs wildly. Like he's in his glee, because this is his element. This is when things are really going kooky, crazy, nuts. He really enjoys those moments. And that's Joker. The Dark Side trailer where Dark Side is talking, he's saying, he says, I have destroyed 100,000 worlds to dust, right? That trailer where Dark Side is menacing. The guy is intimidating. Guess what Joker's doing at the moment Darkseid's about to really lay down the gauntlet? What is Joker doing? Laughing his ass off. He's like, that's the thing. That's Joker. That really is fucking Joker. And that's why he's called Joker, right? And that pretty much summarizes how Joker feels. And when you see him and his engagement with Batman, that dialogue, oh my God, it's insane. It's insane. He definitely has lost all his marbles. He is insane, and he is psychopathically insane. And you're going to be highly entertained by him. So yeah, and those were just brief moments of Jared Leto on the screen, and again, he captivates. I remember in Suicide Squad, he was captivating as well. And you can't take your eyes off the screen with Jared Leto. Wonderful Joker. You'll see. But this movie was a movie in which I appreciated the tenderness of the movie. To me, there's a very tender moments in this movie that I truly lost my marbles. No, I didn't lose my marbles. I started to cry. And I remembered, people who were near and dear to me that I lost. And I remember the words they said to me and the things they said and how, important certain things were to them and things now that I live to honor. Sometimes, as children, we don't appreciate and value the values and the systems your parents believed in you and invested in you and sought to preserve you so that you could be that person they always saw you to be. And that's the thing about these movies. And I gotta say, I saw that in the Snyder Cut community. I saw people become things that they probably never thought they had within them. And I think that's just a beautiful thing. I was there to witness it. I had to step away because of my mother's illness and tend to her. And I saw that in this community. And every time, this is what I'll tell you guys. Every time you hear a certain song choice, think Adam Snyder. Think Zack's doing this for himself, obviously, but he's also doing this for her. And so the movie had a much more tender sort of feeling to it than I guess he would have had if Adam didn't die. I get that feeling all the time, that it wouldn't have been the same movie if she had lived. Because there's a very tender feeling to it and a feeling of value of this person more than a sort of acknowledgement or a taking for granted somewhat that they're there. And people become more precious to you the more you have less access to them. And I just get that feeling in this movie. And I just couldn't control myself. I ended up, some action scenes made me cry. The Flash particularly, he had a particular action scene where he's embodying certain things that, again, have been sort of relayed to him. And, some people will say coming of age sort of thing. And again, in the absence, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. That feeling, you get that feeling and it can overwhelm you. Well, for me, I really ended up crying quite a lot in this movie. And that's weird. And you were talking about like what was it like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning? I was crying and I was like, why am I crying? And I like, yeah, I know, I get it, I get it, I get it, I feel it, I feel it. And so, for me, it was an emotional experience. Um, I'm pretty sure this labor of love was cathartic for Zach and Deborah Snyder and for the whole entire staff and community, which were responsible for creating this movie. I'm pretty sure all of them felt the absence of certain people who they lost along the way in making this movie. And I get that feeling when I'm watching it. I really do. And love is a quaint and strange thing, and we'll talk about it in much more detail. I'm not going to spoil the movie for you, but I just there's so much I want to say, and not necessarily with spoilers. Not necessarily. We don't need to spoil the movie for me to say how I got and how I felt. I haven't seen the movie again. I have only watched it once, and then I had to go to sleep. I was tired. I didn't realize how tired I was, so I was sleeping just now. There, that big gap that you guys had, I was sleeping. I just got back up, and I got some other things I got to do before I go and watch it again. And I know Zach's going to be he's going to be premiering it. And again, I haven't gone into the details of it, but oh my God, there's some reveals in this movie. And people, I can't say too much more. Cornell Cormer, what's up? Cornell Cormer says, dude, I'm glad you love the movie, but I think you should have written the music soundtrack. No, 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 no. That was meant to be the way it is. Oh, you watched it as well, I'm assuming. You watched it as well. I gotta say, Cornell, I couldn't do that job. I mean, I um, the musical selection, the musical choices of music, I believe, really suit this movie, in my opinion. Respectfully, some very tender songs, some very intimate songs. And people would say, well, why that song choice? Well, okay, I'm going to spoil something, okay? At the end of the movie, as the credits are rolling, there is a version of Hallelujah that begins at the end of the movie. And this version of Hallelujah is not a version that you guys have heard before. Now, the version of Hallelujah we heard in the trailer was the original, very authentic first version of the song sung by the purest form of Hallelujah that was sung by the gentleman who composed it and arranged it. But the version at the end of the movie is a very gentle version, a very carefully taken and chosen version of the song. And if you listen to it carefully, you will feel so many different things that he's conveying at the end of the story. It's an exhale for one, and for two, it is a presentation of a gift packaged to Autumn. So for me, this is how Zach makes sense of her death. AFSP, there's so many hurt and broken people in this world, and we really want to keep as many people in the flesh as possible because this, you know, as they say, uh, mental challenges and people who suffer from, mental health issues, and of which all of us suffer to some degree from mental health issues. But I mean, people who, to the point where the depression forces them to take their lives, I think is something that we really, and Zach and Deborah really want to, um, you know, They want to see as many people as possible live and give beautiful gifts. And I think what this movie does is it helps us to appreciate people being existing. You know, I was having a conversation with my 80 something plus year old neighbor next door, and we came to the conclusion that life is unpredictable. And so it's the moments that we share together which are the most important thing. And a lot of us have plans about what we want to do and where we want to go and what we would raise, but we do not understand how delicate that balance is, that those plans can be easily eviscerated by one event or one thing that you never can plan for. I think of how unpredictable it was with my mom. My mom was one of the most health conscious people in the world, and she died at 69 from pancreatic cancer. My father outlived her. He lived to be 75, and he had, you know, eating problems, and he was not the most healthy guy in the world. She made sure he was stayed healthy, but he was more of a, you know, and it's just one of those things. You know, I looked at how they did everything right. They saved their money. They invested in the right things. They ensured we got education and we were highly educated. They tried to prepare our home and teach us the way that they understood and their value systems as best as they could, and left us to critically think about how we wanted to proceed with our lives and have choices to where we want to go. They tried to hold us accountable on those things. They were very compassionate with us, and they are dead. They're gone. Okay? They're gone. There was no life will reward you for this. You took the right measurements and you planned appropriately. Nope, they're dead. They're gone. And I always had this question in my mind. How can you follow the rules, play by the rules, do all the so-called correct things, and you're still gone? You're still gone. I think of so many people in the world with gifts and beautiful things to give. You know, Victor Stone, God bless him. I know it's a fictional character, but still, God bless him. He has so much to give. You know, without spoiling it, he was the god of technology. Definitely. You know, and the way how he's described is it comes second nature to him. And I think of the gods of technology today. I think of these younger generation who are so tech savvy in programming and in using social media platforms and understanding the language of social media, the language of technology. They come out the womb technologically proficient, almost cyborg. And yet, they can be also equally crippled. They can be vulnerable. They can be weak because a lot of them are broken. And it's amazing watching Cyborg say later on in the movie, I'm not broken and I'm not alone. It was a beautiful, meaningful line, bearing in mind the circumstances that should have broken. Circumstances that, again, I'm pretty sure people who have endured and had to overcome certain social perceptions of them and treatment of them, something that Ray Fisher is going through even right now as we speak, it's voluminous. And you say to yourself, how could somebody survive that? How could somebody thrive in spite of that? And that Cyborg story, it's one of tremendous overcoming and tremendous becoming, not just overcoming, but becoming something and growing into it. And we saw Cyborg grow into what he is and his acceptance for what he is. And for me, that's a tremendous story in and of itself without spoiling anything. You know, his stories, oh man, it's pretty intense. His story's pretty intense. And Superman's story, uh, man, you know, a lot of guys went through some crucibles. You know, I think of Victor Stone's mother. Victor Stone's mother. You know, you know. I mean, what a lady. You know, and stories like that are compelling. You know, because sometimes we always feel that our parents owe us an apology. Sometimes we don't understand the full story. Sometimes we cannot grasp the sacrifices they make, but not in the way we want them to make them for us, because we do not understand what it takes to do that. And I think in the story of Victor Stone, what I liked about this movie was how he was able to see and understand. Kind of like, you know, sometimes an actor will win an Academy Award after all the criticism and after they've died. I think of, um, hey man, as soon as you called my name, said Corner Comer, I got the blue screen of death, so I had to go to the computer too, but I'm happy for you. What? You serious? What's going on your side, man? What? I hope everything's good. I'm on a phone. What do you mean by blue screen of death? That is not funny. Uh, um, we'll have a spoiler discussion. We'll do it Sunday. And I'm definitely putting out the song Us United. I'm definitely still putting that out. And also, I just want to point out it's a member of the Snyder Cut movement named Barry. I am in the music. I hear you, man. I hear you. I hear you. You are a music man. You know, so am I. So am I, you know. But, you know, I always feel that music is a language of love. And I believe, you know, music carries emotion. And I was just trying to explain you know, for people like yourself, I'm sure you fully understand. Uh, I have to pick my words carefully because I don't want to spoil anything. That communication is a language. You know, it's not necessarily in words, right? And it's all about the emotion. The the emotions are a very important part in language. So, you know, a lot of people like to go into the wording and the technicality of words. And no, you can get exactly what somebody means, even though they may not say things correctly, by their body language and the emotion that they carry across. Which is why they say it's not what you say as much as it is how you say it. That tells us. So I could say to you, for example, man, I love that movie, right? And then I could say, yeah, man, I love that movie. I'm being sarcastic in one end, and the other end, I'm truly in it. I'm earnest, right? So you can tell when somebody's narcissistic. You can tell when someone is really in it and they're sincere. And the difference between the two is in inflection. It's the delivery, right? And that's music, right? When I say I love that movie, right? I could sing that, right? You know what I'm saying? That has a rhythm to it. I love that movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally ripping it out when I say that, right? I love that movie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So there's a difference between that and someone being sarcastic, say, yeah, sure, I love that movie, yeah, sure, whatever, right? Again, there's a rhythm to that. There's a feeling to that, and that's what music does. It isn't the words necessarily. Even the words do count, and words are important. But somebody can say something indistinguishable, and you didn't really hear what the words were, but you got the feeling. Right? There are many times in the song where you just can't get the lyrics, but you got the vibe, right? You didn't get the lyrics, but God, you got the vibe. Oh yeah, baby, I got that vibe. You ain't know what you're singing, but you like it. Right? You vibe with that. It was like, oh yeah, that got a good vibe. I ain't know what the hell they saying, but it's got a good vibe. And that's the beauty of communication. Right? I just want to go there. You look at, yeah, I ain't giving away nothing. You look at whales, right? You look at toothed whales. You look at dolphins, sperm whale, killer whales, beluga, pilot whales. They all click. And there are certain tribes in the United States of America who also click. Native Americans who click, okay? That's their language. Now, is it primitive? Hell to the no, no, no. And without saying way too much, without saying way too much, I don't want to say too much, but suffice it to say that what we call primitive, just because we don't understand what's going on, is advanced. When you can tap into the feelings of people, you begin to get more information than if you're simply listening to what they tell you, or what they say to you, because, and that's something women do very well. They're very sociable creatures. And the more sociable you are, is the higher evolved communication skills you will have. So a woman will tell you, how does that make you feel? She loves to say that. So how do you feel? How do you feel? I always remember my ex telling me that, But how do you feel? It was very annoying. But I know you can't fool her. You know what I'm saying? You can't fool her, right? You can't fool her because she knows how you feel. But she's going to ask you anyway, how did that make you feel? And you'd be like, these goddamn feelings. You always go back to that. Why? Because they are very communicable. You find animals that are very communicable. Birds, we don't pay attention to birds, but they make different sounds, right? When they're tweeting, right? They got different inflections and sounds when they're tweeting. That's music, right? Just like music. To quote Marvin Gaye, right? Birds. Mercy. Birds are much sharper, much smarter, much cleverer than we think they are. And they use a series of clicks, tweets. And you know what sounds like birds? Whales. They make the same little high frequency sounds and they click. I'm gonna go a little bit biblical on y'all. The fowls of the air and the creatures of the sea declare the wonders of God. The wonders of the deep. The wonders of the deep. Everybody always feel the deep is just the sea. No, my friends. The deep is also the sky. That boat blue. I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. How deep is the connection between the yin and the yang? Is the line ever drawn in the sand between the yin and the yang? I'm gonna ask you this. Could there be a woman without a man? The answer is no. What will come out but woe? Yeah? Now, the man is found inside the woman. For there can be no man without the woe. Just saying. Music. Gotta love it, baby. If you're in the music business, you've got to be spiritual. There is no escaping it. My brother says, we need you. I need you too. Cornell Comer says, when you look at the movie again, let me know if the music fit. I would like your opinion. The music also made the movie. I have to go back to the studio. Use your ears and sight, my brother. I hear you, my brother. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. 100%. I believe it fit the movie. It surely did create the emotional state that I had. And no, it didn't create, sorry. It aligned with the emotional state I had, which I was not aware I had. So that's how I feel about it. I understand the musical choices are different to what people would come to expect in a genre like that. But that's because Zach don't work and he don't do the usual stuff. But yeah, I'm glad you're going back in the studio, brother. You go ahead and vibe that vibe, brother. Get to some heights in it. And soothe the souls. Soothe the souls, man. I love your mixes. I gotta go back to the studio myself, but that everything in its time. Blessings to everybody out there. Yeah, so you guys enjoying this feed? Don't forget, you can always say your piece. So what's going to happen post Snyder Cut? Well, we're looking to see numbers now. What kind of numbers? I was looking to see how many people rented this product on Google, because I had to buy it through Google Play. Beautiful movie, sharp images. My phone can only do 180p, so that was my limit. Even if it's 4K, I could only see 180p, which is enough for a phone because the phone's small and beautiful. I want to see it again. I will be renting it again. It's a 2-day rent, so my time is going. I can watch it as many times as I possibly can within 2 days, and I'll just renew the rental. But I'm gonna be watching this movie for a while. I'll be talking to you guys about it. But I just want to besides the movie, just appreciate you guys. I just want to show my love and appreciation for each and every one of you. You know, you guys have been, beautiful people, and I hope that you can progress on in your lives and put a lot of meaning to it. For me, I got some things I got to do with my neighbors here. And so I'm going to go check out my neighbors for a minute. And then I have some things to do in the house before I step back and I watch the movie again. Ooh, somebody just came by my door. It looks like my brother. So I'm going to be talking to you guys very soon. Streaming out. I'm going to catch you guys later. This is Kai Sam Disciple saying peace to each and every one of you guys. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.